Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to another Into the Darkness horror franchise discussion. And of course, I'm joined by the regular crew here, my good friend, Mr. Anthony Jordan of Anthony Jordan's Movie and Gaming. We then have Mr. Tony of the Dead.
Hello.
And finally, my good friend and regular co-host a lot of the time on my channel, we'll have Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio. And he has obviously joined by his own regular co-host, Neko there, as you can see in the background.
Slapping with her tail.
It looks like it's coming out of
Get
your
up
head.
there.
Yes. So how's everyone doing, my friends?
Very good. Very good.
Very good. So
we're doing the Wreck franchise, right? You're going to change your pick on number one, right?
We're never ever going to talk about that ever again. But we are here to talk about the franchise. For those who are familiar, they'll know what happens once a month. I'll pick a franchise, a horror franchise, and we collectively talk about each particular movie and then give our input and, thoughts on that particular franchise. So this time, I picked a franchise that I had known about, but I had only seen maybe one of the original movies and one of the remakes. So I thought it was a good idea, particularly there's only 4 movies in this franchise, to, have an opportunity to revisit the ones I had seen and obviously visit the ones that I hadn't seen. So we had to talk about The Hills Have Eyes. That's right. So, as always, we'll talk about how when we first were introduced to this particular franchise. So, Mr. Anthony Jordan.
Well, I always knew about it. I just never had a way to see it. And my first time watching any of them was a couple weeks ago when I watched the original.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Tony of the Dead.
I really don't remember when the first time I saw this was, to be honest. I had to review it a while ago when I got the first and second ones in. That was when I saw the second one for the first time, but the first one I don't remember. But a couple years ago, Shay and I reviewed the remakes for like a Halloween thing. And that was probably like 10 years ago. I haven't watched them since then. Well, now, but yeah, I can't remember when I first saw them. But
yeah. DJ Anubis.
To be 100% honest, I think I never watched any of these. I mean, I knew about them, obviously. Michael Berryman, I remember seeing him actually for the first time in one of the Motley Crue videos in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then when I figured out that, he was like a big part of this film, so that kind of like led me to believe he was like this horror icon that they were adding into that video just for fun. But until we did the franchise, this is the first time I really kind of just sat down with, like, the first one I may have seen like a few scenes, but this is the first time I've literally just sat and watched them all, in full.
Yeah. I think our very first, well, I had like you, Anubis, I had heard about these movies, especially the iconic movie poster, like you say, that has Michael Berryman on. I had seen the poster, I had known about the movies, but had never watched them. And I didn't really take an interest in the original ones until, obviously, the remakes came about. So I remember watching the first remake, and then I went and watched the original. But I had never seen the original part 2, and then, obviously, the sequel to the remake. So this gave me a good opportunity to explore these movies again. So let's get cracking and talk a little bit about these movies. So The Hills Have Eyes is an American horror franchise that consists of 4 horror films, as well as a graphic novel and merchandise. The first film was released in 1977, The Hills Have Eyes. The series was rebooted in a 2006 remake. The film focuses on a group of people stranded in a desert who become hunted by a clan of deformed cannibals in the surrounding hills. The films collectively grossed over 132 million at the box office worldwide. The series was created by Wes Craven, who was known for the Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream films. The series has featured actors and actresses including Dee Wallace, Aaron Stanford, Michael Berryman, and Emily DeRaven. So quite a strong cast there. And like I say, because I had not seen the first one in such a long time, I kind of forgot about it. And if I kind of forgot what happened to Dee Wallace's character. You know, I expected her to have a stronger role in that particular movie, but obviously she kind of plays second fiddle to the male, you know, protagonists of the movie. So, you know, the first film basically starts off with this family. You know, this family, the Carter family, who are heading to San Diego, California, and decide to do like a detour through the New Mexico desert because apparently the seniors of the family, it's their wedding anniversary, and they basically are going to go find this silver mine that was, I guess, inherited to them by the family on their honeymoon. So it's like a wedding anniversary, and they're going to go check the silver mine out. But then Fred, who is, you know, he owns like the local gas station. He's kind of this eccentric man. He basically warns them not to go deeper into that part of the desert because it's now it's not officially quarantined, but it's obviously under surveillance by the US Air Force. It's also a past nuclear test facility, you know, where they did, you know, bomb tests and so forth. And, you know, he's kind of warning them that people have gone missing in this area before the strange things go on in there. And throughout the course of the movie, when you see Fred, you do see out in the distance in the desert, you can see like odd things moving about. And it turns out it's obviously members of this cannibalistic family. And as the film progresses, you know, you do this is the Carter family all together. For me, though, there's only one Carter member that I actually give a flying fuck about, and that's this character.
Yes, Beast.
Beast.
Which, that movie coming out, Good Boy, this film is the original Good Boy.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
And how funny that the other dog was named Beauty, so Beauty and the Beast. I liked it.
Yeah. And like I say, I've got vague memories of watching these. So obviously, as the film progresses, the Carters kind of venture off in the car in the trailer after having the gas filled. And the dad, Big Bob, he's got heart issues. The mother's got, you know, she's kind of eccentric and deluded a bit. And then obviously Dee Wallace's character has just had a newborn baby, a her husband. Then I guess you've got, you know, the brother and the other sister. And as they venture out, you know, they're trying to read a map. Then all of a sudden the jets start flying over and, you know, making a lot of racket, which distracts them. And Bob ends up crashing the car into the side of the desert, like in a ditch. And mind, the one thing I love about this first movie, there is some cracking dialogue and one-liners in this. When he first crashes the car and he says something along the lines of, I could, out of all the places I've been shot at, I've been attacked by fellow police, and how the hell am I going to die by my wife in the car on the side of a road? Because she's talking like crap and he's just getting distracted. But then this is where you slowly start to see members of the cannibalistic family as they've got binoculars on the mountaintop looking down at them. And you're then introduced to the different characters of this family. So you have Pluto, who is played by Michael Berryman. You have this nut job who is Mars.
Baby.
Yeah, so these are the for me were the two main ones. You do have Mama, and then you have Daddy Jupiter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
And
might be your daddy, but he's Papa to them.
oh well, Papa.
Big Papa Pump.
Daddy sounds too nasty.
Dude, you need to swallow that mic.
Yeah.
I have it on the other setting.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
quite
barely
low.
hear it. It is
Yeah,
quite
like
low.
it sounded like you were whispering.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, how's this?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. But
I said he might be daddy to you, but everybody else he's Papa. And then I said, Daddy sounds too nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, maybe it would have been better as Natty Daddy, because it would have sounded nastier, which would be great. So, as the plot progresses, you see this family getting hunted down one by one, or in like a group setting by these cannibalistic family. The one thing I don't agree with when it comes to this movie is where they said the cannibalistic mutants, because I don't consider the ones in the original movies as mutants. I just consider them this, crazy cannibalistic family. They remind me of like the Sawyers from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise.
Apparently, I can't think of the name of the family, but apparently part of Wes Craven's influence was this legend of a family in Scotland that lived in the hills and was cannibalistic.
That would make sense.
Yeah, Wes took a lot of inspiration from real life events, so that's probably something, he got influence from that, probably.
So, Anthony Jordan, your opinion of the plot and how this story goes?
Also, I really like the setup. It takes enough time to establish immediately there's something really wrong here, then gives you plenty of time to get to know the characters before everything goes haywire. So as far as setup goes, I couldn't ask more for what this film is.
Yeah, it's quite an easy plot to follow, isn't it? Because, like you say, the family who are the Carters are just trying to make their way to San Diego for like this anniversary or family vacation, and then obviously you've got the crazy cannibalistic family, which is a combination of, you've got, like you say, you've got Mama, then you have Ruby, who was played by Janice Bly. Then you had Pluto, Papa Jupiter, Mars, and then you also had Mercury, who met a fantastic ending thanks to Beast. He's the first of the family that got taken out by the dog, because obviously you had Bobby Carter, who was played by Robert Houston. He basically is the younger brother who's basically, they're his dogs. Beauty and Beast are his dogs, and he loves them. And Beauty and Beast are in the back of the car, and they're basically back of the trailer, and they're basically distracted by all this racketing. They can sense there's something there. So they break out of the trailer and they basically run off into the hills and into the mountainous areas. Unfortunately, Beauty gets lured and Pluto basically butchers her to death. This poor dog gets butchered, and obviously Bobby's basically devastated after trying to find her, and he does find her remains. But then he nearly gets attacked. Oh, he nearly gets. Oh, I don't know. It's not from my end. I do know, like, Bobby gets nearly attacked by Pluto as well, but then he falls and gets knocked unconscious. But when he returns to the camp, he basically doesn't tell them that Beauty's been killed straight away. He basically, keeps it to himself. And this is when Big Bob, the dad, decides, oh, guess what? I think he just wants a break from the chaos of the family. He decides to kind of go back to the gas station to see Fred. But when he meets up with Fred, he's then attacked by this crazy family, and Fred himself tries to commit suicide because he basically knows he's done for anyway, because he knows the family's going to target him as well. And Fred gets attacked. He gets dragged through the window. He gets, stabbed against the toilet door, and then Bob gets attacked. And I really love what happened to Bob. Basically, he's attacked by this family. He's then put up on like a giant crucifix and basically set on fire, which really helps set the tone of the first particular film. Yeah.
Can you hear me now like this?
Yes, I can.
I went in the settings and turned the volume on the mic setting up. It was at 50. I didn't know why it was at 50.
It still seems a little quiet for me, but
it's
okay.
Yeah.
What's up, gentlemen?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Bob was a hothead.
Yeah. So, since you're speaking, Tony, how do you feel about that particular sequence of events with Bob and the getting put on the crucifix and set alight?
Just the setting alone for this movie is like, like it's one of those. What would you do? First off, I would never do this, but going out in the desert and that, and then like, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the premise of the movie, so obviously there's people in the hills, but like, just going back and then find this guy hanging there, and then his story about how, the baby and all that stuff, and then it went out into the hills and he left it there, and it's just like, holy crap! It's a setup too. It's like, oh God. Him on fire, and that is like, you're not expecting it because he's like the father. You think he's gonna be like the tough guy that's gonna stick around for a while, and they like kind of take out, the strong man in the beginning. Basically.
Yeah. I had a funny feeling he was gonna get taken out because they kind of made it obvious that I felt Bobby was gonna have a stronger kind of role.
Yeah,
I thought the first one who was going to get taken out was the husband, to be all in fairness, because he was just wanting to get laid by his wife in the back of the trailer. That's all he was. He was wanting to get his end away. He wasn't really bothered about anybody else.
And like the fact that the dad had a heart condition kind of telegraphs to me that he wasn't going to be around for too long.
Yeah. And like you see the backstory, whenever I never mention how Fred mentions that him and his wife had a baby, and the baby ended up leaving the baby at the top in the hills, and all this crazy stuff happened. So basically, let you know that potentially he's the cause of this family, or he's had something to do with it all. Basically, sacrificed his own child to these cannibalistic family to save his own skin. So basically, he's full of guilt, as well as he just sounds like a dickhead for doing that in the first place. So I found it was cowardice as well, that you knew his backstory of him sacrificing his own child, and then at the end he tries to commit suicide because he can't live with the guilt. So even though the cannibalistic family grab him and torture him and knife him to the side of the toilet door, I felt like it was justified.
I'll watch what you say.
And speaking of the family, I looked up the name of the legend he got it from. It's the Swanee family.
Oh.
The Swanee family.
Swanee.
Yeah.
Swanee.
And is that the family from Scotland? Is that the family from Scotland?
Yeah, I don't know the detail, but legend has it they were a family of cannibals that lived in a cave, and they just preyed on travelers.
Yeah, that would not surprise me. But as the plot progresses, as you saw, all chaos starts to break loose after Bobby is basically sacrificed. Mars and Pluto attack the trailer when obviously Bobby finally reveals that Beauty's being killed. So the husband and Bobby with Beast venture out into the hills to check stuff out. In the meantime, the mother gets attacked attacked. Lynn gets attacked. Ethel gets attacked. Brenda gets attacked. All three of them get attacked. And basically, unfortunately, Brenda Carter, she gets attacked by Pluto and is essentially raped. And you know, the other two just had to witness the chaos going on around them. And then you've got Ruby, who's like the friendly of the cannibalistic family, who's basically, she doesn't want to live that life anymore. She wants to try to break free of it all. And she's kind of stuck in the middle of it all. And as the film progresses, obviously, you know, the mother gets killed. Dee Wallace gets killed, which really surprised me. But back when this came out in 1977, I don't think she was building a career, but I don't know if she was like this was like her starting out, I think.
No, sure. Her breakout probably was in The Howling in 1980. So 3 years later is when she kind of started to really gain some traction.
Look, that attack on the camper, that was just like uncomfortably brutal.
Yeah. Especially when you've got this dickhead. Like he was just yuck. He was just a bad dude.
And he played it right then if you hate him.
Yeah, he did his job. He did what he was meant to do.
Yep.
Yeah. But like you say, as it progresses, the rest of the family are basically killed. And after they're all killed, basically, it just leaves the husband and Bobby, along with the one who gets raped, Brenda, and the baby gets kidnapped and taken to Mama. They're basically preparing to cook Mama. Sorry, preparing to cook the baby. But then ends up, obviously, that doesn't happen, thank God, by film's end. But the rest of the film is basically them trying to save the baby and get revenge for the death of their families. And you're introduced to Papa Jupiter, Mama, and it's like they've got all this chaos consumes. And then the best thing is you've got this guy, you've got Pluto, who raped Brenda, who was then attacked magnificently by Beast and gets his throat ripped out.
But by the way, interesting fact on the baby, apparently the baby was originally going to be killed off, but the entire cast pretty much threatened to walk off the set if Wes went through with it.
Yeah. I think it was, to be honest, I can understand why, because you've mentioned that the whole trailer sequence, the trailer attack sequence was already intense enough. Yeah. You know, Brenda gets raped, the mother gets shot, Dee Wallace character gets shot. So there's two deaths and a rape. So if they went ahead and murdered the baby, I think the film might have been so dark that I don't know if people would have wanted to go see it in theaters. So I think keeping off the death of the baby is probably a positive.
Nowadays, they'd be fine with it if they're going to put Terrifier 3 in theaters. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, kill it again."
Yeah. Now you have movies like a Serbian film.
Yeah, seriously. People are fucked.
Yeah. But all that may change because of things that's gone on in America. With the political landscape and that, they may change again on what they're willing to showcase in theaters.
Blaming entertainment for all the stupid shit that politicians do.
Yeah. So obviously, this film ends with Pluto getting his throat ripped out. Papa Jupiter, I love the scene when he gets dragged by the car. He gets dragged, and then basically he gets into a fight, and he's then fucking stabbed to death by the by the husband who revenges his wife, and the chaos, as we assume, is over with, or is it? So, what's your overall thoughts, Tony, of the first movie?
I like the first movie. I like that it makes me feel uncomfortable while I watch it, especially with the baby. It's like I know some of it's probably not a real baby, but like it's very convincing, and you know it. I like that they're not mutated super like a lot. Like Michael Berryman, like that's how he looks, so it's perfect for the movie. But like I like that they look a little more human, and but there were times where it's like they're talking and they're all stupid, like baby fat, oh mama papa, and then like but when they insult each other, they knew how to curse each other, like you know you're an asshole or something like they all of a sudden they could speak like perfect sentences. So there's like
Yeah.
little I've noticed that, but yeah, I always liked the first movie. I met Michael Berryman before, and he's this incredibly nice guy. Same thing with Susan Lanier. Still very hot for her age now. Um, but yeah, I still like it. And surprisingly, Bobby turns out to be like a badass, and I was not thinking that was going to happen with him. But yeah,
Mm,
I liked it. I still like the movie.
yeah. Yeah. Anthony Jordan, your opinion of the first particular film?
I liked it. I think it's a film not too dissimilar from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's a film you watch for the experience because it does make you feel uncomfortable, but product of its time, when these kind of low budget films were more common, it's solid for what it is, and I definitely watch it again.
Yes. DJ Anubis?
It's nice to just kind of sit down with it for, finally and take a look at it. But this is certainly Wes Craven's like worst film for me and his franchise. Like, it's not really something I'm all that interested in as a plot device. I will say the one thing that stood out to me the most, which surprised me, was after Lynn Wood's death, played by Dee Wallace, like when she's in the trailer, Martin Spear, who plays the husband, his emotion during that was spot fucking on. Like I totally felt it. Like that was some of the best acting I've seen in a horror movie during that era. So like just even if just that small moment, like he really made me feel his pain, his sadness, and everything. So it was just so well done. I loved it.
Yeah, I personally think the trailer sequence with the trailer attack is probably one of the most, for that time period, intense sequences in horror. I found it more uncomfortable than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like I see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for me, the only thing that puts me off, it's the constant screaming. It just gives you a headache. Where this screaming and people are show fear, but then you're getting somebody being raped. There's this dread that this baby's going to be killed. You see the mother get shot. You see Wallace gets shot. Then it's the aftermath of, like you see, him bending over to his wife and he realizes she's been killed and he shows real emotion. But he's also in shock, and then he realizes the baby's missing and he's like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then Bobby basically, like, he turns into the badass and is like, we've got to go revenge our family.
Yeah.
And go after them and hopefully save the baby, which thankfully they do by film's end. So for me, it is a lower budget film. It's not as good as I was expecting it to be, because I had heard people say like, oh, it's a really good film. It's one of the classics of its time. It is a good movie, but it's not as good as I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that said, of course, because it did do well for its time.
Very well, actually.
Yeah, very, very well for its time. They, of course, decided a few years later to bring us the sequel, which is...
Tony and I were talking about this last night.
How did Jupiter survive having his throat? I mean, not Pluto survive having his throat ripped out?
Reba patch me up. He loves me.
I had to because I had to find this online, so I had the privilege of watching this when it was being aired on like USA. And of course, at the time, I totally forgot about this guy, but I remembered him. His name's Captain USA. He used to dress up in his superhero outfit, and he's sort of like the Joe Bob around that time. So it's like, I just started laughing. I was like, dude, I'm enjoying this shit more than the fucking movie at this point.
Yeah, I found it on YouTube. I found the first one and the second one. They were free to watch on YouTube.
Oh, fuck you then, Rick.
Well, if any is were troubled, I could have sent you the links.
Yeah.
So The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 is a 1985 American horror film written, directed also by Wes Craven. The film stars Tamra Stamford, Kevin Spirits, John Bloom, Michael Berryman, Penny Johnson, Janice Blythe, John Lawlin, William E. Pugh, and Peter Fretchett, and Robert Houston. The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 is the sequel to the 1977 film. The film was produced by Barry Kane, Jonathan Debin, and Peter Locke. And this only had a budget of $700,000.
I would have believed if you just said 700.
Yeah. So, Mr. Anthony Jordan, because I know this is your favorite of the franchise, I'll let you talk a little bit about it.
Well, I hate this film. It's just not interesting. We were supposed to believe that Jupiter had this older brother that we never knew about who is so big when he's on one of the dirt bikes, he looks like he's on a Power Wheels toy. And the reuse of the just might as well say, even though it's not quite the same, they practically ripped off the Friday the 13th music for this film.
Yeah.
The fact that they bring back two characters from the first film, one is thrown away in the beginning, and well, what happens to the technically three because Beast is back, but what happens to Ruby in this one? Just what were they thinking?
Mm.
She got civilized.
Yeah. So this is your cast, basically, like a big chunk of the cast in the second one. So basically, what happens? You have this voiceover that happens at the beginning of the movie, which has one of the most perfect titles, where it is "The Hills Still Have Eyes." They've never actually used that in any of the film sequels, where they should have used that as the title of the movie, since it's part of the the narration at the beginning of the movie.
And it has such a good ring to it.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And then basically you've got Bobby who's going through therapy. And then, like you say, he's going through therapy. And then you've got his sister who decides, she's moved on with her life and she's like working with this rally, the bunch of rally bike racers. And they decide to go back to the same desert, like training to compete into some sort of competition, which, straight away, if you went through an experience like that you had in the first one, the fact she was raped in that particular desert, and she's willing to go back for some stupid bike competition, for me, didn't make sense, because the trauma alone after an event like that would be an absolute no-no. And
I'm like, is there nowhere else to go bike racing? Like, really?
No.
Yeah.
No,
and then
there's not.
You're introduced to only two members of the cannibal family, and I think because of Michael Berryman's look and because he was such an integral part of the first movie, they just had to find an excuse to bring him back.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of the other characters that we're introduced to, like if you just had the Reaper, because that's the name of his big brother, he's known as the Reaper. Now, if you just had him running around, I know the film didn't do well and was considered a box office failure. But if you literally just featured him in the movie, it would have probably not. It probably wouldn't have even aired in theaters. I think it would have just went direct to. It would have went direct to. I was going to say streaming, but streaming wasn't even around then.
Yeah.
But you know, but if you look at the Reaper as well, like that doesn't even look fucking scary to me.
Looks like somebody I saw on Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah, he looks like something from Captain Caveman, like the Flintstones.
Well, the only thing that bothered me about him was like, yeah, he's big and he's brawny and everything, but like he would fight with some of the other characters, but then when it came to like the one girl, he like literally just broke her spine, squeezing her. And I'm like, how is it you can do that, but you struggle against everyone else, like, to the point that you can't just like snap their neck with your hand? Like that's sort of like when they did that with her, they were making him like bigger than life. And then all of a sudden when he's in the rest of the movie, he's not quite as strong as that one moment. So I'm just kind of like, that's weird.
And he basically was defeated by a blind girl.
Yeah. Yeah. That's even better.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that.
Mm-hmm. She's hot, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the plot is you got this these bake people on this rally competition who that slowly start getting taken out one by one by the two remaining members of the cannibal family. And then you have Ruby, who's now changed her name to Rachel, who was like, had disgusting teeth. Her hair was all over the place. She looks like she was falling apart, basically. She's now transformed into this delicate little lady with lovely hair, nice clothes. Her teeth are now completely transformed. It's like she must have found the best dentist in San Diego.
And it's only 8 years later.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's like in her 40s now.
Yeah. Like, this is the one thing I didn't realize. I thought it was a different actress.
No, I think it's cool they kept the same one.
But that's what I mean, because it is the same actress, but because she's so different to what you was.
Yeah, I didn't even know it until I saw her name listed. I was like, I didn't think it was the same chick at all.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
really?
I thought it was a completely different actress.
Yeah.
And that's what threw us off. But then, so even when I seen her name come up, I'm like, Anubis, I was like, I cannot believe that's the same actress, because what a difference. Because even the time frame from the first movie to the second movie, it's such a shift with the character.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is too, like, and I know we're gonna get to the other two movies, but like, I think the remakes did a lot better of the casting. Like we believe like what we're seeing is representative of what they're trying to tell in the stories.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think what the plot would have with her should have been better is she's went into normal society, but because she looks the way she does, and because people pick on her because they think she's a freak because of her appearance or her backstory, when she returns to the desert, she realizes that's where she belongs, and she turns on everyone else. And she should have went psycho and joined her family in torturing the other one. I think that would have been more believable.
I don't like how, I mean, I don't care that she's like civilized and everything, but like, I really don't think in 8 years she's able to run a business.
No.
You know, like there's no way I could take care of that. It's like
at that point, she should still be in therapy. At that point,
100%. I'm a lot better now. I'm learning.
Or if she shouldn't have done what Kevin said, she should have been the one to take the reins and be the hero of the story. Where she's like, no, I lived with these people. I know what we have to do. If you people live, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, remember, they didn't know she was Ruby at first, too. So,
yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, that guy that got crushed with the rock, not Dwayne Johnson, the actual rock that fell. that
was
guy
hilarious.
Was so annoying. Oh, I couldn't wait for him to get like. Is it the guy from the Twisted Sister videos? That's not the
Which
father,
one?
is it? The one that the rock landed on top. He's like, "Ah, you missed me," and then the rock fell down on him.
No. I know what you're talking about, but no, that particular actor, he was in I think either Grease or Grease 2. I can't remember which one, but he's like one of the T-Birds in that one. And then I've seen him in some other horror films, but I
Oh,
recognize him pretty fast, like as far as like his stuff that he's done. But yeah, the guy you're thinking of, he was in the Animal House film, and he was kind of reprising that kind of role in a Twisted
oh,
Sister video.
oh, okay.
Honestly, that scene where he dives, because especially first he catches that spike trap, then the rock gets pushed on him. You could have put Looney Tunes music over that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this film, like I say, the storyline I just think's weak. I think the reasoning of how to get them back to the desert to take on the survivors of this family, I think they should have just done it where they didn't link it up to the first movie. They could have maybe done a third one later on. I just think it was lazy creativeness, and like you said before, Lou, was that you felt that the first Hills Have Eyes is probably Wes Craven's weakest movie or weakest franchise. I think this. I like the first
Oh
one.
no,
I
no,
think,
no! Yeah, this is god awful worse. Like I didn't even realize
yeah,
that Wes had done this. Like I don't think even. I think Tony told me last night. Wes doesn't even accept that this is his film. He says, "It's not mine. It's somebody else's. It's not mine."
yeah. like this for me is his worst film he's ever created.
Yeah, it's bad. It's god
Yeah,
awful.
it's like, and even the ending was like where Reaper's in the school bus, and basically they tried to do what they did in the first one with Papa Jupiter, where it's the exact same ending except it works the second time round. Because obviously in the first one they're trying to set up the lure Papa Jupiter into the trailer, and then they blow it up with him inside, and he figures out what they're trying to do, and then obviously it doesn't happen. Then he suddenly gets stabbed to death by and killed that way. But in this one, they do the exact same ending, except this time, this time fucking Fred Flintstone actually meets his fucking ending.
You know what he really looks like? A Klingon from the 70s of the original Star Trek series.
I could see that. I could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I can't
Khan!
now.
But yeah, so this film's just so. Mr. Tony the Dead, your thoughts on the second one?
Well, first, can you hear me if I talk like this?
Yes.
A little bit.
I can.
It's him. It's not us. It's him.
It's not me.
Well, I had saw this one time before this, and I hated it. I thought it was terrible. And I think the thing that ruins it is the dog has a flashback. And it's like, oh,
dog has trauma.
the dog is PTSD. He's in the desert. He knows what's in those hills. He's a good boy.
Oh my goodness.
And
hey, I want to say something. If you actually own this, do not send it to me. Do not send it.
I don't own it. I
Good.
had it and I sold it. I said I'm never watching this again, but I had to today. But yeah, there are certain things that I like about it, though. I like that it's a mine, but like the reason to go back there is better in the remake than in this one. At least it's like a legit, we're going to study the place kind of thing, the radiation. And this is like, oh, we could cut across the desert. Oh, wait, well, the reason they wanted to go for the shortcut was because of daylight savings time, an hour. Just fucking floor it and go the way you're going and get there a little late and be like, I'm sorry. And instead now everybody's dead. But the girl, God, she doesn't hear him, but it's a feeling. So she's kind of psychic. That's like, It worked in we were talking about last night too. It worked in one of the Friday the 13th movies, but it didn't really work in this, even though she was hot. The kills, it's too goddamn dark too. The movie, even cleaned up and everything, it's too dark. I do not want to ever watch this again, to be honest. But yeah, I don't really have anything.
I'm glad we got it out the way then for you, Tony. I'm glad we got it out the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing is I mentioned the budget. You can tell the budget's cheap because they did something that they do in a lot of cheap movies. They did when they did the flashbacks. It's just a shortcut. They were showing sequences from the first movie, like with Pluto being attacked by Beast. In the very beginning, where they're doing the after the voiceover and Bobby's in therapy, they show you the last sequence, the last sequences of the first movie as a way to just kind of tell us, to get to the beginning of the next story. So I found that quite cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the point of even bringing Bobby in?
Yeah.
Exactly. I kept thinking to myself, he's going to show up. He's going to be the hero again, but we just never fucking see him. I'm like,
the point was to pad out the runtime.
Yeah.
Like I say, they do that often where they bring things in, and I think they do stuff like that in the most awkward way, just as like a way to connect one movie to the other. But it's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Wasted opportunity. So we all agree this is a 10 out of 10. Well,
what Tony mentioned about the dog's flashback, someone needs to do an edit of that where they insert audio from Texas Chainsaw 2 where Bill Moseley's going, "Nom flashback, nom flashback."
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it's over. We don't ever have to talk about this piece of shit again.
That's the one I watched.
You know what's a better movie? Wreck 3.
By miles. It's not even close.
I think they're on par.
Them fighting words.
Right. Let's get cracking. The lucky ones die first. The hills have eyes. So this is the first of the remake that was made in 2006. Now, I'll just say I think the remake and the sequel are far superior than the originals.
No question.
I'm just going to put that out there. So The Hills Have Eyes, 2006, is an American horror story directed by Alexander Ajar and co-written by Ajar and Gregory Levasseur. In their English language debut, it is a remake of Wes Craven's 1977 film of the same name. The film stars Aaron Stanford, Kathleen Quinlan, Vanessa Shaw, Emily DeRiven, Dan Bird, Robert Joy, and Ted Levine, and follows a family that is targeted by a group of cannibalistic mutants after their car breaks down in the desert. So pretty much the plot, apart from the odd plot twist and turn, is very much the same plot as the first movie. It's one of them remakes or reboots that's done in a way where they keep the same story, but they enhance the story in that with new visuals, better effects, and it really helps elevate the film that the original was.
I mean, the minute that fuckboy in the hazmat suit gets a fucking pickaxe to his head, I was like, okay, game on. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. Like, this really amps up the horror.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's what bothered me about the last film, the second one, is that they strayed away from the horror aspect and tried to go with this like action weird shit that they were doing with it. And I just like, why? Why are we doing this? This isn't even Craven. What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. And even like, look, like the mutants, these are mutants.
Yes.
Like the first movie, the second movie, for me, like I say, they're not mutants. They're just cannibals. They're just crazy cannibalistic, incestuous family. Where these, you can clearly see, they're just fucking totally mutated and screwed up and mentally, deranged and all of that good stuff.
Yep.
Like even Papa Jupiter in this one, and I like the character of Lizard, who replaced Mars with the character of Lizard, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah,
so
he was the one that ate the bird, right? Drank the bird.
Yeah. So Mars eats the bird, and then you had Lizard in the second one.
Mm-hmm. First time I saw that guy he was in Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then I saw this.
Well, I just love that they have Buffalo Bill or Buffalo Bob as the dad in this.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like I don't. Oh. So this is Daddy Jupiter, Papa Jupiter in the remake. So as you can see, totally different. Like really amplifies the horror and the creepiness.
Yeah.
And if you look at the original concept art for Jupiter, he was supposed to have a parasitic twin in his chest.
Wow, that would have been different. And then, of course, there you have a Lizard.
All he has is a cleft chin or a cleft lip.
There's Bobby.
Let's have
And, of course, you have Beast.
Yeah. I will say, I like Bobby in the original one more because he's more believable. And I forgot to mention, too, in the first one, because what movie did you say about there's too much screaming?
Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I feel like that about the original Hills Have Eyes, because when she yells, Bobby, over and over again, it's like ear piercing. And that drives me crazy. That drove me crazy. So I know how you feel, but and the sister in this one, she was like the complete opposite. Like she was scared, but she wasn't useless.
Yes. So, like you say, they amplify everything in the sequel movie over the first one.
But the guy who is the father of the baby, he was likable more in the first one than I think in this one until the ending, because he's kind of a prick.
Yeah, this guy, the dad. Yeah, I would say that.
You kind of understand like why the father-in-law doesn't like him, because he's somewhat antagonistic himself.
Yeah. I think the thing is, I think I agree with what Anubis mentioned earlier. He said how the great thing about this, it amplifies the horror, it enhances the story with the modern effects and the modern, cinematography. But I also agree with Anubis that he made the point that the casting, I think's better in these movies. I think they nailed the casting in the characters. If they're knocking you or they're pissing you off, I think it's done right because the actors are doing what they've been asked to do. So the husband was more of a dupe. Like I said to you in the original, like the husband in that one, all he wanted to do was get Dee Wallace in the back of the trailer to bang her. He was sexually frustrated and he couldn't give a shit about anything else except getting laid. And then when he seen her get killed, he was absolutely gutted that he lost his wife. And then all of a sudden, after she died, that's when he started saying, "What about your baby?" Prior to that point, you couldn't give a shit about the baby because Dee Wallace, every scene she had the baby in her hands or the mother.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, right? Because in this one, even though the actor did a pretty good job for most of the movie, I didn't feel that his
connection.
well, yeah, the pain and hurt that I felt from the original actor when his wife died didn't match, and so I was like, it wasn't horrible, but it just didn't hit me the same way. And so, like, I was watching that particular, I was like, okay, let's see how this guy does this, because I know this scene's going to come up. And again, a horrific scene. Actually, the death of his wife is a lot worse than the one from Wallace's character, but he didn't hit me the same way, and so like I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping, I was like, damn, it would have been nice if he hits that mark, but didn't hit me the same. But he was overall a better guy and character than the first one.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole in both movies. That's the story arc of the character. He's like a non-interested husband. He's not really interested in what's going on. He's only interested in his own needs, and then once the wife's gone, he then has to, suck it up and realize his responsibilities to be like a more out there father. And it's all about finding the baby, saving the baby. And it's like a personality switch as well in both films.
But in the first one, it seems like him and Bob get along a little bit, like they're bust balls, but not bad. And then in the remake, they're bumping heads constantly. They can't stand each other, and then he's like, "Fuck your father, fuck your sister," blah blah. And it's like, you're kind of a prick, dude. Like, I get it. Like, he's being the thick-headed and doing what he wants and everything, but just, I don't know. He then he kind of redeems himself. Like, he went with the baby, but what was I gonna say? What about? I don't know. I was gonna try to do Bob's voice, like, well, we're gonna go out in the desert. The candy cane. I want to speak to candy cane. I can't do it now.
It does what it's told.
It puts it in the basket. Put the fucking lotion in the basket. There it is. Fucking lotion in the basket.
But even Big Bob Carter, I think's better in this one than he was in the original. But I still think the script and the one-liners in the original are better with Big Bob. I still laugh when he's like, "My God damn it, I've been shot at. I was in the police force for 30 years, and how am I gonna die by my goddamn wife on the desert road in the middle of a fucking nowhere?" Yeah. And I just love it. But we can all agree that this one is better than the original.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So let's go on to also the superior sequel.
Not by much, but yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Not by much, but if, like you said, I know Tony said he could not watch the reboot sequel again. Like, it's not the reboot. He couldn't watch the part 2 from the original, but I could imagine you could watch this sequel again.
Well, at least with this one, it had a way better story of how the people were there. Like, that made so much more sense, than what we were getting from the first sequel.
Yeah, taking a shortcut through the same fucking desert. Like, she should be like, no, we're not fucking going this way. Isn't she in charge? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's another thing that I forgot to mention, that the difference is, as you know, the first 2 movies, they kind of mention how not only is the New Mexico desert, but it's like an official like quarantine zone, because it was a nuclear test facility, where like a bombing test facility, and you don't really see element of that, like in the original. It would have been interesting with them going further in if they started hallucinating or showing side effects that they were getting hit by atomic radiation or something, like breaking up like the rashes or hay, just to intensify the horror. Where in obviously the first one of the reboot, clearly you can tell the way the family they're not just a cannibalistic family, but they're clearly mutated because of the radiation and the events that have transpired. A found footage film that is similar to this is, the Chernobyl Diaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that show, that's another film that showcases these crazy people like running around that being affected by the radiation poison and stuff of that nature. So this for me is a more realistic movie in terms of what I believe would generally happen if this was a real event.
Yeah.
But the second one, The Hills Have Eyes, 2007. So this came out directly a year after the first one. American film and the sequel to the 2006 film, which itself was a remake of the 1977 horror film. The film follows several New Mexico Army National Guard comrades as they fight for survival against a mutant people living in a military base, the New Mexico desert. It stars Michael McMillan, Jacob Vargas, Flex Alexander, and Jessica Trope. The Hills Have Eyes was directed by The Hills Have Eyes 2 was directed by German film director Martin Weiss and written by father and son team Wes and Jonathan Craven. A graphic novel titled The Hills Have Eyes: The Beginning was published by Fox Atomic Comics to accompany the release of the film. It was released on July the 3rd, 2007. And it had a budget of 15 million and made 37.6 million at the box office. So I do think generally, so the first film was made on a budget of 15 million, made 35 million at the box office. The first reboot film was on the same budget of 15 million and made 70 million at the box office. So I generally feel why Wes Craven and his son joined together to do the sequel is because he absolutely hated the sequel to the original. And I think he thought of himself, guess what? I need to make up for the shit that I caused back in 1977.
Yeah.
So I generally feel him and his son came together and made a really compelling, interesting movie. It's not the same as the first one or the first sequel, but what I like about this is they should have made, like with the first movie, the sequel part 2 in 1977, the focus on trying to connect it to the original movie, where I should think they should have just done a sequel that had no connection and had a film like this where a bunch of other travelers decide to go across the desert to try and get from A to B, or you don't, like you say, a group of guards or military personnel are on some sort of training exercise and then stumble across the cannibals and all hell breaks loose. And
well, what I like about this film is that, at least now they're tackling the issue of inbreeding and how they're procreating out there in these hills. And so it's a very nasty way they go about doing it, but that was something that they'd never really tackled in any other film. So I enjoyed the fact that they were actually addressing it.
Yeah, because obviously the story is, you see right at the beginning, one of the mutants gives birth to a baby and the baby's stillborn. So basically they're kidnapping women and raping them and so forth to continue the bloodline within the mutant families. So it is quite dark, and it, like you say, it adds that extra element of scares throughout the course of the movie. The fact that you find that subplot out, like the female casts in this movie, is quite attractive.
Yes, very.
And yes, so are the men.
No, we don't care about the men.
So they're quite, and then even the mutants, they enhance on the mutants a bit, like this guy.
Yeah.
He was brutal in this. This particular scene was quite.
Oh, that was crazy.
That was like totally blew me away. I didn't expect that at all when that went down.
Him leaning up against that rock, though, when she was going to pee and he was behind her and he blended in with the rock, was amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. And then you've got this dude.
Yep, he's hot.
So, like the story of the second one with telling the backstory of how the procreate and keep the bloodline within the mutant families going, and how it enhances like how these families survive, really was an extra element of the story that I really enjoyed, compared where the first one, the part 2 in 1977, was basically, they were just, I feel as if now that I'm talking about it, they were just grasping at straws to find a plot that would be interesting, compelling, and pull audiences in. And I just think it went so left that it just didn't gravitate, where this story is a much superior story for the sequel.
Agreed. Yeah, it makes more sense, like I said, why they're there.
Yes. And that they're in this military compound, and that when the military personnel turn up and they realizes that there's a number of females with them, they see it as an opportunity to continue the breeding and intensify it that way. Anthony Jordan, your opinion of the sequel?
I really like this one, and we said about like the motivation for the family. It just really increases the stakes of this film. But
Yeah.
I love the little expanded touch, like because there was that old mine, that there were all these tunnels they can pop in and out of, so you never know where one's going to come at you from.
Yeah, and because they've lived in this mountainous, hillish New Mexican area for so long, they know the land, they know the layout of the mines, they know the hills, and they, like you mentioned, Tony, they're able to camouflage in the background so easily. Like if they're in the desert bit, they put dirt on the clothing so they can lie down and they blend in with the soil, or like you see, they can gravitate next to the wall and blend in so you don't know they're there. So for me, that just intensifies the horror of these particular characters.
Yeah.
I did like the scene where Beast attacks the guys. And I found myself saying, "Get him, boy, get him."
Yeah. It like you say, like Anthony mentioned, we're getting Good Boy coming soon next month. I've really got high hopes for that movie. I'm hoping it's gonna be, so far Sinners is probably still up there as one of my top 10 of the year. So I'm hoping Good Boy at least makes the top 5 of my top 10 of the year.
I still have to watch Sinners.
Yeah.
It's on the list. I have to watch Sinners.
Yeah,
it's on
dude,
my
it's
list.
so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said, I could finally watch Barbarian and Weapons. So
I actually had never seen Barbarian, but it was nowhere to be found. And then all of a sudden, I think it's because of Weapons has come out. They've released it on Netflix in the UK. So I watched it, and everyone was saying to me, "Oh, it's amazing! It'll blow you away." It did not blow me away. Was it a decent movie? It was okay. I don't want to see them tits again. That's all I'm going to say.
For me was, because Tony knows, we talked about it when we all did the Jeepers Creepers thing. Justin Long, I hate him all the time. And I always enjoyed it. He dies in film. So, but this particular film, I'm like, if they really wanted to mix it up, they should have just let the girl die and let Justin walk away. That would have pissed off so many people because he was such a shitbag in that film. So I was like, it would have been great just to fucking pull the rug from everybody and have the girl die.
Yeah, that would have been good, but I do like how he got killed.
Yeah.
How Mama basically squeezed the fucking living light out of his eye sockets. It was pretty cool. But anyway, getting back to this, what are your thoughts on this one, Anubis?
Certainly way better than the original sequel. Story is way better. It makes more sense. Again, the level of special effects and violence is turned up. Again, we also talked about as Anthony put it, the motivation of the family, why they're doing what they're doing. And so, like, even if you get like the one scene where Papa Hades is raping Missy, like, it's not overly graphic, but you definitely know what's going on. Now, the only thing I would say is by the end of the film, I'm like, well, is she gonna be pregnant? Like, is she gonna have one of the motherfuckers? What's gonna happen? So we never really get an answer to that, and plus we don't have another sequel, so like I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
And another thing that I noticed with this one, the first movie ends where on a cliffhanger where you see like the remainders of the mutant family with the binoculars looking out at the family walking away. The same thing kind of happens with this one where you've got the walkie-talkie and that, and you know that a mutant's listening in and knows what's happened, so you know there's more of them out there. So I agree. A third one, I think I generally feel that maybe the backstory of the third one would have been if she was pregnant, would the mutants have left the desert and went and found her and kidnapped her and brought her back to
And
the
that's
desert?
actually a pretty good story. Like I'd be down for that because I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but there's like a trilogy of movies where one's called The Woman, which I'm a big fan of. And the third film deals with where the mother, who's feral, goes looking for her daughter, who's actually been taken to like a Catholic school or something. And she's feral to a degree, so but the mother goes looking after her to find her, which is pretty cool and intense. So if they did a third film where these mutants went looking for Missy's child or whatever, that would be kind of cool because then you take them out of that element. It's almost like taking the predator out of the jungle and putting him into the city, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I also remember too at the end it showed like there's like an there's already a tunnel system, but it probably goes further than you know because they've been digging in there for how long. So who knows where they can get. So yeah, it could be a city thing, like Chud.
Yeah.
It could be like Chud.
Yeah. Like you see, you don't know how many of them's out there because don't forget when the bomb dropped or they did the tests back in the day, the tests have been going along for how many years prior to the events of these films, which I think was set in like real time. So it was set in 2006 and set in 2007. So because of that, that's many years since the testing. So this family could have, they could have breeded hundreds of generations of them. And, there could be pockets of them all over, the New Mexico desert, because as you know, the desert itself is big and ominous. So, and like you say, my positives is I felt like the story was a natural progression in the backstory of the families, and I liked how they took it to the military base, and they did more with the family in this sequel, where the 1977 remake was just a continuation of the story from the first one, and just didn't really do anything else or delve into anything new. So it's definitely superior sequel. Are we ready to rate these movies?
Rate them up, baby.
So, Anthony, Jordan, let's start with you.
Well, last place, the original Hills Have Eyes 2. The rest of these films I would rewatch at some point, except for this one. Then it's close, but I would probably go the original Hills Have Eyes and the remake for the sequel for the remake, just because I feel that one has more rewatch value. And at first place, one of the rare occasions where the remake is in fact better than the original.
Yeah. Tony of the Dead.
Well, yeah, obviously the second one, the original second one's in last place. But I will say now watching the remake again and the sequel at the same time. Well, not the same time, but like the same day. I can see where they took elements from the sequel and put it in the sequel and the remake, like where he gets pulled under the bus they did that to a soldier where he got pulled into the rock.
Yeah.
So like they liked some of it, it's like, well, that could have been better, and then they did it. So like I just want to say, like, the second one isn't as bad as I remember, but it's still bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's last. And then I'd say next would probably be the sequel, the remake sequel. It's still good. It's very fucking dark. It's hard to see anything in it. Just like the second sequel, it's very hard to watch. Nobody's likable. I don't care about any of them at all. And yeah, like Anubis said, like she obviously is going to be pregnant. And where's our sequel? I don't know why we don't get it. I don't know, but yeah. So then
Well, it made less at the box office. Both the first reboot, it cost 15 million and it made 70 million at the box office. The second part, the Hills Has Eyes 2 2007, cost 15 million, but only made 35 million at the box office. So maybe they felt it just didn't make enough money as a comeback to warrant a third one.
True. Well, there's nowadays streaming services, and I imagine it would be cheaper to make it now, especially with CGI and shit.
Yeah.
But as far as the first, the original and the remake of it, I like them both. It's very, very close though, but I would have to probably say I still have more love for the original because it's more scary to me than the remake. So I would say the remake is second and the original is first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
DJ
They're close,
and
though.
Anubis.
They're very close.
Yeah.
Well, number one is clearly the first sequel. That's number one.
Absolutely.
Just kidding. So number 4 is The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, the original, with 3 out of 10. Then I go with the original Hill Has Eyes at 6 out of 10, and then Hill Have Eyes 2, the remake, 7, and number 1 is the remake for the Hill Has Eyes at 8 out of 10. So none of them are really perfect films for me, but I just find the remakes far superior, and just not in tone, but also stories as well as acting and everything else. It's just far better.
Yes. Yeah. As for me, I would say it's from 4 to 1. The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, 1977 is last because it's just pure fucking garbage. Then The Hills Have Eyes, the original, that is number 3. The Hills Have Eyes 2, 2007 is number 2, and then The Hills Have Eyes remake 2006 is number 1. And like you have mentioned, it's one of them rare cases where the remake, I feel, is better than the original. But just like Tony, I agree that even though I've lowered where I've placed the first one, there's certain elements of the first one that still stand out that are very intense and very uncomfortable. And that is, of course, the trailer attack. And both films are very graphic, very intense. But I just feel like Anubis mentioned, the way the wife dies in the remake is a lot more grotesque and gruesome. So that kind of stands out for me.
But in the original.
By the way, look, this is the closest we've ever come to like 100% agreement on the ranking.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weren't we more closer to Pumpkinhead?
No, I think you and I, we liked some different things in it. Like we liked Blood Wings more than they did with the first one, but then I started going off the deep end with my love for the Blood Feud. Number 4.
Yes. Yeah, I think we were close on the Wishmaster series.
Yeah.
But anyway, my friends, Mr. Anthony Jordan, what is coming to Anthony Jordan's movies and gaming?
Well, tonight I'll be joined by a couple guests including DJ Anubis for a discussion of weapons tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so that'll be Discussions in Filmland episode 3. Ramp still working on my Montober stuff. I have to edit my Phantasm 4 review, then my Wing retrospective episode 10, and after that, more Montober Phantasm 5, the Phantasm ranking, and I'm pretty much caught up on that for what I'm going to do for now. And sometime next month, I still need to get with the two gentlemen, DJ Anubis and Tony of the Dead, but another Discussions in Filmland, we're going to be discussing the original The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Oh, that'll be a good one. Mr. Tony the Dead, what's coming up on your channel?
Well, pretty much just ghouls on my channel, and then on the White Trash every day there's another song, so I have to make some more of those.
I have to say I love the Krampus one, because I asked Tony to do one on Krampus, because he knows I like that particular movie, and I like the Krampus one. Haven't listened to the last one you put on. What was the last one you did?
Cathedral something. It's a Quasimodo surfing song. It was that somebody requested that one too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing any? You got any unboxings coming up? Or do you still get your horror packages? You know how you get like from Arrow and that.
Yeah, I still get them. I just don't do the unboxing. I don't know. I don't want everybody to see what I have. Sometimes, like I don't post because then they start begging for it.
Like this one right here.
Like that
begging.
Pussy that has a pussy under her feet or his feet. Neko boy or girl? I don't even know.
This is a girl.
Girl.
Yeah.
She's hungry.
Just like the other Neko, she loves giving Anubis attention.
Yeah, she likes to give head.
A different kind of head.
Like
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she boops.
Yeah. Boop. Yeah, the boop.
Boop and Bob.
But what's coming to the Metal Tavern Radio?
So obviously tonight I'll join Mr. Jordan over there for the weapons review. Saturday for Silver Screen Savants, I'll be joining Olvin for a review of 1978's Halloween from John Carpenter. Going into next week for Ghouls of Midnight, I've actually chosen Bambi the Reckoning as my pick for the next week. And then I don't know if Tony's decided his yet or not, but that's where I'm at right now. I know that you and I, Kevin, have scheduled to do Love and the Rebels, but that could change due to whatever happens with you and your rearranging of your room. But right now, that's pretty much it for me. That's all I've really got on the horizon.
Well, as for me in the entertainment headquarters, I have one more thing planned. And like we say, it's 50-50 about what's going to happen on Wednesday. But this Sunday, we have the next Kaiju Connections classic kaiju review, which is The Magic Serpent, for those that want to join us for that one. And then after that, we're heading into good old October, which is on the entertainment headquarters, a month-long event, which is going to be called Fear the Wolf, the month of werewolves. And that is something I'm very much looking forward to doing. A lot of these guys are going to be a part of that event. We have a lot of streams planned where we talk about a lot of the different werewolf movies that we all love, like The Howling will be the franchise discussion that month. So looking forward to that. But then I do have things on the pipeline for after October. So the November franchise discussion is going to be this one.
Oh.
It's going to be the Omen franchise discussion with these three amazing gentlemen. And then going into December, we'll have this particular special that I would love to do, because I enjoy these particular movies. We're going to be doing The Shining and Doctor Sleep.
I've actually never seen Doctor Sleep.
Oh,
Well,
it's actually incredible.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I'm not going to be nice to The Shining.
Oh,
Well,
Wow.
you wouldn't be the first, though. There are people that have some major
Mhm.
problems with it.
That's very
Is this because of you read the book, or?
Yeah, more. I'll talk about it more when we do it, but I'm more a fan of how not only does the book present the story, but how Jack is characterized in the book.
But anyway, that is what's coming up to the entertainment headquarters in the next few months. We've got all the schedule on Into the Darkness from October right up to December, and there might be another Christmas special that I want to do in December. So keep an eye out for that. But gentlemen, thank you as always for joining me. This has been another fantastic discussion. Everybody, please like, share, and subscribe to Anthony Jordan Movies and Gaming, the Metal Tavern Radio. And if you want to listen to some cool horror themed songs, please like, share, and subscribe to Mr. Tony the Dead. And of course, if you've liked what you've watched and you want more horror content and discussions, please like, share, and subscribe to the Entertainment Headquarters. Take care, everybody, and we'll catch us all at the next one.